Made Energy is a society which exists to provide low carbon solutions. We're 9 volunteer directors and about 200 member investors. We have, as a society, installed solar on 7 community buildings, and this was one of our community buildings. Has 67 kilowatts of solar on the roof. They asked us to come up with a solution to replace their 8 aging gas boilers, which would be very expensive and high carbon options. Well, because of the renewable heat incentive being in place, we were fortunate with the timing to develop a project to draw heat from the ground using a ground source heat pump. That is going to provide low carbon heating for the building in combination with the electricity from the solar panels.
Heat pumps are often compared to a fridge or freezer running in reverse, and that is taking energy from the environment, amplifying it electrically through a compressor which is inside the heat pump, and turning that into usable heat for a building, which is the opposite of what a fridge does very easily. So what we're looking to do here is pump a glycol solution, glycol water mix, non-notifiable, non-toxic, through an array of boreholes, which you can see being drilled behind me. That will then in turn collect energy, carry it over to the heat pump system, which will make use of that energy by compressing it and condensing it electrically into high-grade heat.
There are hundreds of other organisations like Made Energy, which are community benefit societies providing low-carbon solutions for community groups. It's a fantastic movement across the whole of the UK, supported by Community Energy England, and in this area by Community Energy South. It's really important that communities play a role in addressing the climate emergency.
This particular install will be making use of some of the electricity produced via solar panels to offset some of the grid purchase.
How far down does this have to be drilled?
These boreholes are going about 170 metres deep, 160 metres deep, and I believe that there's 9 of them in total. So overall we'll be utilising about half an acre's worth of land to produce that much energy for the heat pump system for the building.
So talking numbers, what sort of budget do you guys had for this project?
This project is a £200,000 project. We've raised that money from 200 investors who will get their money back long term, plus an annual interest after year 1 or year 2. So in my view, it's a much better place to put your money than the bank.
So in regards to emissions and carbon reduction, the heat pump system will reduce local emissions of the building by about 100% when it's running. So there will be no local emissions into the atmosphere. What it will do though, of course, is use purchased electricity from the grid, so there will be those net losses. Overall, over the course of the year, it'll reduce running costs by about 15% against mains gas, and carbon emissions by about 65% for the heat that it will be displacing.
And my message to the government is to bring back feed-in tariffs, for solar, bring back the renewable heat incentive for non-domestic buildings like this, because community groups, they cannot afford these high capital projects. But a community benefit society, we can raise capital from the community on a long-term payback. So it's a fantastic solution to a really urgent problem.
Do you think this is a model that can work all over the UK?
Yes, certainly. It's something that we've replicated on many sites before: period buildings, churches, new buildings, domestic, residential, care homes, commercial. So it's not a limited technology. I believe that heat pumps certainly are a part of the low carbon future. Whether or not they're suitable for every single property, I don't know, but they're certainly a technology that can be replicated across the country, yes.
And the same system could be used as in a grid for several homes, for instance?
Yes, district heating schemes again are quite common. It's something very common in the continent, but not really taken advantage of here in the UK. We've done small district heating schemes on country estates, and there are other companies out there that have been doing low-cost housing, for example, to reduce running costs against direct electric heating. So it certainly is feasible and viable as an alternative. If you want more information, I mean, there's government websites. Ofgem administer much of the subsidies for the heat pump technology. Our website is isoenergy.co.uk.